Hello, welcome to day 3 of our smoothie challenge. I am here in my kitchen. Welcome to my kitchen. And we today are going to talk about some of my favorite tips and tricks, things that I've just learned over the years using smoothies in my life and my family that are time savers and produce savers, because that's a very real thing. And hopefully some hacks that you can take away that will make this a little bit easier. And some of these I've pulled from things that you guys have brought up just in asking questions and kind of chatting with me over the last couple days so far. So please keep that coming as you are trying out smoothie recipes and introducing this into your morning or your afternoon. Be sure to just let me know. Let me know what you're struggling with. Let me know what questions you have. And hello, Tracy. My video just turned weird. I hope everything is okay. You guys say hello as you pop in. Let me know if everything's okay. You can see me okay. Everything sounds okay. And we're going to jump in. So I am right now having my pumpkin spice smoothie for lunch. I just made this, and this is like my favorite. If you haven't tried this recipe yet and you love the pumpkin, it's so good. But here's something that I want to share as tip number 1. When we are buying produce, or maybe using, like in this recipe for the pumpkin spice, canned pumpkin, it doesn't call for the whole recipe, right? Or for the whole can in the recipe. So what's going to happen is you're going to end up with like 2/3 of a can of pumpkin that is going unused. Hey Anna, welcome. My phone like literally switched sideways, so if I keep doing this weird thing with my head, it's because I'm trying to look at everything. Anna, let me know if everything looks okay on your end. I want to make sure that my video hasn't like flipped sideways or done something weird. So what do you do with leftover produce, leftover pumpkins? Here's the first tip that I want to give you when you're doing smoothies. Save yourself time and energy and repeat the same smoothie for a while. Like, this has been one of the greatest things that I've learned, and one of the things that I talk to the moms going through my nutrition program and the Mom Restore system about all the time is like, save yourself the challenge of doing new things all the time, because familiarity is our friend, and the more familiar something becomes, the easier it is to do it every single time. So I've given you 5 smoothie recipes, and this week you might try all 5 different recipes each day, and that's cool. But usually what this looks like in my life is I will have the same thing for breakfast for, I don't know, 2-3 days in a row. I typically don't do the same thing every single morning just because I need a bit of variety. But you know, I don't try to reinvent the wheel, and I don't try to like do everything new every single week. And this is really helpful when it comes to just being quick and efficient with things. And especially with smoothies, you know, when you don't have to look at a recipe and you get to the point where you can just throw everything in because you know that recipe really well and you know what you like in there. It's so great. So one of the things that's helpful for, like with this can of pumpkin, if I know that this is going to give me about 3 smoothies worth, I'll just either like pop something on top of this or put it in a little Tupperware, and then I've got the pumpkin that I need for 3 days of pumpkin smoothies. So that's the first tip that I have for you guys is don't put so much pressure on yourself to have a ton of variety and do something different every day. But when you've got leftovers, or maybe you've got extra produce, I want to give you some tips for this. So these are little silicone ice cube trays. They're bendy and flexible, and I use these for a lot of different things in my house, but a lot for smoothies. So what I'm gonna do today is take this leftover pumpkin that's in here and spoon this out into this little silicone ice cube tray. And if I have time, like over a weekend, and want to do some prep, I might even just prep a couple cans of this. So I've got little cubes of pumpkin, and these are about, I don't know, like a tablespoon in each one. And that way in my refrigerator or in my freezer, I've got cubed pumpkins so that I don't have to worry about opening a can of pumpkin and scooping everything out and dealing with the leftovers every time. I might just prep a whole tray of this and then use like a Ziploc freezer bag and write pumpkin on it real big, and then I've got pumpkin cubes. I also do this with my greens. I loved the tip that you guys had yesterday about just Monday about putting the whole thing of greens in there. I do that with my greens. Like I will take a container of greens, especially if I bought a big one and I haven't used all of it that week. Instead of letting those go bad and just throwing that out, I will take my greens and put them in the blender, like really stuff the greens in there, fill it up as much as you possibly can, and add a little bit of whatever you usually use as your base in your smoothie, your liquid. It might be water, it might be milk, it might be almond milk or oat milk. And then blend up your greens with that, and then pour it into a little cube tray. And so after that freezes, you can just pop these out, put it into a Ziploc bag, and you've not only not wasted produce, right, by just throwing the greens out as they were going bad, you've now got little green cubes so that if you want to have a smoothie and you don't have any fresh greens, you can just use the green cubes. It's awesome. This has been one of my favorite hacks. So if you were to look inside of my freezer right now, there's a whole section that's just Ziploc bags of smoothie things. So the cubes is great for things that need to blend up or something mushy that needs to be contained like this. But then there's other types of produce that we use a lot in smoothies that can also go bad and get weird. So bananas, this is another one that we pretty much always have bananas in my house because this is a staple in my son's diet. But as you know, bananas can go bad really fast. And what happens with bananas over time is the more brown they get, like I don't know if you can see where this one is at, the more the sugar content changes in these and the type of sugar changes. And using really, really overripe bananas is going to give you a ton of sugar in your smoothie. We know this because we make banana bread and banana muffins with those really, really sweet bananas. So trying to preserve some of these like before they get overripe so that you don't waste your produce is great. So here's what I do with my bananas. When, like I've got a bunch right now that was falling off the stem. So I went through this morning and sliced these into little medallions. And what you use is parchment paper so that the bananas won't stick because they're going to get really sticky when they freeze. And then I just kind of lay these out on a freezer sheet. I'm going to pop these into the freezer for the afternoon, and then tonight, probably when I'm doing dinner and stuff, I'll just scrape these off, scrape them into a freezer bag, and I have a Ziploc bag in there full of banana medallions. This is an awesome hack for saving your produce, but also for making sure that you have a consistent amount of banana in your smoothie each time. Because if you're anything like me, when I go to the grocery store, sometimes the bananas look like they have been injected with steroids. They're so huge, and there's no way that I want to use a huge whole banana like that in my smoothie. But you know, chopping it in half, it's like, what am I going to do with the other half of this banana? This is awkward. So this has helped me just to be able to have like a consistent amount of banana in my smoothies each time. Awesome, awesome time saver. And you can do this actually with any other produce. Like if you buy fresh strawberries or fresh raspberries and you have extra produce that is going bad, maybe because you haven't eaten it fast enough, you just lay them out on a piece of parchment paper, throw it in the freezer, let it freeze, and then you can throw them into a freezer bag. I have a bunch of peaches in there that I use for peach smoothies and like putting in pancakes and stuff. From the summer, because that was when they were in season. I could buy a bunch of fresh peaches and they all started to go bad before we ate all of them. So now I've got fresh peaches. I know that it's easy. You can buy bags of frozen produce at the store, super easy. So do that, right? If that's the easiest way for you to do this, I saw somebody mention, like I like the pre-made freezer bags, smoothie bags that I can just dump everything in there, like absolutely do that. But I know for my family and for a lot of families that I talk to, finances can be a big barrier. And so when we're looking at, trying to save some money and trying to do things in a way that is economical, like getting in-season produce and then freezing it when you can get it in bulk, like when it's in season, that is usually a really good, easy financial hack to save you some money. And that's, to the point of like saving time. I was talking to one of the moms about like those individual freezer bags. That is another way that you can set yourself up here. If you're super, super busy and you don't have time to do this stuff, if you have time on the weekends to even prep little freezer bags with your ingredients for your smoothies, that might look like taking like a pint size or not a full gallon size. I can't remember the in-betweener. Quart, that's the one, like a quart size Ziploc bag, and throw some of your banana in there, throw some of your greens in there, throw some of your fruit in there, sprinkle your hemp seeds in there, and get all your ingredients ready in a bag. And then when it's time to make your smoothie for breakfast or lunch or whenever it is, you just take that freezer bag out, you dump it in there. You might need to run it under some warm water for a minute so that your smoothie is not a ice cream instead. But let that be a time saver for you. Just like dump everything in. You've got everything prepped ahead of time. That can be a really, really great trick. So, the last thing that came up in some questions and is a really legitimate problem, and I have some tips and tricks for you, is cleaning up the blender. Right? Like, what do I do with this dirty blender? And smoothies, especially protein smoothies, if you let them sit, if you let these dishes sit, like the protein does something weird. I don't know exactly what it is, but it turns into glue. It's awful and it stinks, and it's no fun to clean it up. So this is the blender that I use. I do use a full-size blender because I like how powerful it is, and when we are working with frozen ingredients, having a really good powerful blender is great. I know some of you use like the little magic bullets or the blender cups, or somebody even used like an immersion blender. That's awesome if that works for you. I like to just throw the frozen stuff in, and this beast will handle it, and it's great. But this is now a mess. So the most important thing with the smoothies is to rinse this out as fast as possible. Sometimes we're on the fly, right? We're using smoothies because we need to be quick in and out. And so I get it. It's really tempting to just take this and put it in the sink and be like, okay, I'll deal with this later. But do yourself a favor when it comes to washing this, and either just like fill it up with water if you're gonna toss it in the sink, or like rinse it out, because the longer that this sits, yes, the more of a pain in the butt it's gonna be to clean. So what this looks like for me, we pretty much run my dishwasher every single night because we cook and we do a lot here. So I will do a quick rinse on this and then I throw it in the dishwasher. But if not, like, get yourself a blender that has the detachable bottom, because that is another thing that's really key. Like, trying to wash around the blade is no fun at all if you're using a sponge or a cloth. So getting that detachable piece will help save your fingers and help you to not feel like, you're running into the danger zone. But I actually don't have one right now, but they make like dishwashing wands. We have this in my house, but if you know what I'm talking about, they have like soap at the bottom, and then there's the wand and the scrubber on top. Those are my favorite for cleaning the blades and the blender if you have like a full cup thing that you can't separate, because that way you're not going to get your hands down in there. You can just like quick get down in there, scrub it out. And it can really be done quite fast. It's not the easiest thing to clean a blender, but if you know not to let stuff sit in there and dry, rinse it out immediately, and then get those tools that will help you just to kind of get down in there and clean it super fast. It really isn't as bad as it may seem. So, you guys that are here live watching, if you have any questions or if you're watching on the replay and you have any time-saving tips and hacks that you found, or any like troubleshooting that you need, stuff that's come up for you that you're like, this is just been frustrating, I don't know how to work around this, let me know. I'm here for you guys this week to help you through this. And I hope this has been just like a really, really helpful thing. I've loved seeing the comments for those of you that are having breakfast for the first time in a while, or filling in the gaps with lunch and healthy snacks for your kids, because getting good food in your body is one of the greatest things that you can do for yourself as a mom. And learning how to figure this out when we're really busy and when we're really stressed out is key. It's really key. So smoothies can help. Hope these time-saving hacks can help you. And on Friday is going to be our last live training here in the Smoothie Challenge. And Friday we're coming in with a giveaway from the Pampered Parent. If you don't know about them, I'm super excited. They're sponsoring this challenge and giving away one of their November boxes. This is my friend Lindsay. She put together this subscription box program specifically for moms raising kids with extra needs, because she knows how hard it is for us to do stuff for ourselves, right? Like actually taking time and making self-care a priority. And part of that is learning how to stay healthy and take care of our body. And part of that is learning how to just do something special for yourself every once in a while, because when we're always so focused on our kids and we lose touch with ourselves, we can end up in a pretty hard space mentally. So in Lindsay's boxes, each month she has goodies. Sometimes it's treats, sometimes it's candles, sometimes it's hats or shirts that are all, she's got a lot of stuff in there that's inclusion based, which I love. And it's just a way to treat yourself with something special each month. I'll pop a link here if you want to go check out what she's done. I've had the honor of being a part of her box and contributing some stuff in there for the moms. And so she's going to gift one of you guys with a free November box of goodies. So make sure on these live videos and throughout the challenge this week that you're commenting, that you're posting about what you're having. I'm keeping track of that on the back end here. And so every time you engage, every day you engage, you're getting an extra entry into this giveaway that's going to happen on Friday. So make sure you show up, check back in to see if you are the winner. And on Friday, I'm also going to chat with you about next steps, right? Because smoothies, this is a really awesome trick and tip for leveling up your nutrition when you're busy. But this is just one piece, right? This is one meal of a whole day of eating and feeding us and our family. And so if you are looking to level up, not just in this way, but as a whole, I'm going to have a special opportunity and chat with you about what that looks like on Friday. So you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Let me know what smoothies you're having today, and I will see you for the next one on Friday. Who's this? This is Melissa. Hey, Melissa. I'm turning sideways again because my phone is being crazy. Yeah, the banana hack is key. Such a good one. Awesome. Okay, you guys, see you on Friday.